Hello, friends. Welcome back to GK Sports India YouTube channel. And this is your favorite, the Kumbi Jiku show. Well, from 20 teams, it is now down to just two teams, the finalists. India versus New Zealand. India defeating England in an exciting run feast of a semi-final at the Wankhede on Thursday night by just 7 runs. It could have been England versus New Zealand. Sorry, but India held the nerves when it mattered most. And New Zealand had an easy victory over South Africa in the first semi-final a day earlier in Kolkata, and it's now just as to who will win the final on Sunday at the massive Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. New Zealand have never won this ICC Men's T20 World Cup, whereas India have won it twice and look to make creating history by being the first team to retain the title as well as the first host nation to lift the title. Whether it is India or New Zealand, let's ask K. Srinath, our expert, player turned umpire. Sri, what an exciting semi-final in Wankhede. India now have a chance to create history, isn't it?
Absolutely. The numbers like scores in excess of 300, the 250s were all spoken about during the league phase and before the start of this World Cup. But though it didn't arrive on a large basis during the league phase and the Super 8s, I think value for money and the sort of entertainment people got yesterday was really a thrilling one. I mean, close to 500 runs, 499 runs, being scored in 40 overs, sixers and boundaries galore. And these players look like gladiators. I mean, they didn't look like human or sportsmen. Absolutely, what a semi-final demanded. Certainly, all the nuances of a semi-final were very much visible. And as you mentioned, pretty aptly, always emphasize on this: a team which can handle pressure better and hold on to the nerves and play those pressure situations better. I think India proved that on that given night. Overall, yes, terrific exhibition of cricket from both sides. Some takeaways, some positives, and some drawbacks also. But overall, I think one of the best matches so far in this World Cup.
And can you pinpoint any one passage of play which turned the game in India's favor in the semi-final, or it was a thorough all-round performance right from Sanju Samson continuing his fine form from the previous game, 97 not out against West Indies in what was a virtual quarterfinal, scoring 89 in the semi-final. The bowling, though all the bowlers went for plenty of runs, Jasprit Bumrah and that magical 18th over, which could have gone England's way, but he contained, bowled his typical Yorkers, 6 runs in only that over. And also, who can forget the 2 catches of Akshar Patel to dismiss first Harry Brook and later Will Jacks when Jacks and the Centurion Bethel were going on hammer and tongs and creating a partnership. Any one particular this thing, or it was a fine all-round performance by India?
Well, one good thing that stood out to me was the numbers showed that by far in this World Cup till the game yesterday night, I think India were far behind in the fielding and catching department. I think they made up for it. I think 2 things I would like to contribute is one, Akshar as a fielder, outstanding 2 catches, awareness on the ground, and a brilliant run out of Bethel by Hardik Pandya, and 2 masterstroke overs. A lot was discussed when it came down to the last 5 overs as to who would be bowling those 5 overs. I think over number 16 and 18, just going for 14 runs in those 2 overs. I think this clinched the game for India. Having said that, 253 was a bit too much on a given day in a semi-final game with the scoreboard pressure. And as you mentioned, Sanju had the rub of the green go his way. Sitter dropped by the captain of England, Harry Brook, at mid-on, and certainly, that he would have ruled big time. Sanju was on 15. Outstanding innings by Sanju. Good support from the likes of Ishan Kishan and Hardik Pandya towards the late. Shivam Dubey, a small cameo. I think the batting came together. What is noticeable in the last couple of games is once one of the top order batter bats almost through the innings, you certainly can see India post the target of 200 plus. Overall, yes, these were the couple of things which I would certainly put my hand on the button. One is the overall fielding brilliance and catching brilliance of Akshar and Hardik Pandya, and those two exceptional overs from Bumrah, and of course an outstanding quality knock from Sanju Samson.
And Sanju Samson, who did not have a good set of matches before that match against West Indies, do you think he has peaked at the right time and has scored runs when it mattered most? A virtual quarterfinal and then the semi-final.
I think it's about believing in yourself is what is important, and the whole world knows as to what is the capability and quality Sanju possesses. He's been around international cricket for 10 years, and he himself has admitted during one of his interviews saying that he's failed to live up to what certainly was expected of him. Yes, we always say, come at the man, come at the man. And I think Sanju's been the man whom India has gone to in the last couple of games, where he's provided the platform and finished it off in the game against West Indies, and even in the game against England now. True, I think it's being aware of your ability. Self-belief is one part of it, but I think knowing what you are is important. The knowledge is something that is practical. You have done it before, you possess that, you are able to execute that. Whereas belief is something that is pretty subjective. I think that is something Sanju's realized, because in one of the chats post that came in Eden, we were talking to Parthi Patel. I heard him tell that I realized at one point in I'm sitting out that there can't be a much lower phase I can go through in my life as a cricketer. So he started working on that, and that's proven, and extremely happy. In fact, why Sanju, when he gets going, the world and the cricketing fraternity loves him is because he's such a down to earth and such a simple man. I think that's why people love always. They want Sanju to do well, and this form of his augurs very well. Hopefully, this purple patch continues. One more innings when India is out there in the conundrum in the Narendra Modi Stadium on Sunday night.
Yes, one more innings from Sanju Samson, one more good game from India, and it's history, or rather, they create history. Sri, when Akshar Patel ran backwards from his position at cover to catch Harry Brook, were you reminded of one similar
The 1983 World Cup?
Unbelievable, isn't it?
I think there were a lot of messages being floated around in the groups yesterday, and friends, we were all discussing the same thing. Did Akshar Patel do a La Kapil Dev in 1983? Two situations were different. One was the semi-final, what we played yesterday, and that was, of course, an iconic game in Lord's, where India were never treated like somebody who belonged to the pajama cricket, which was called those days in white ball. Yes, true. I think it was basically the presence of mind and the clarity of thought he had, and the way he balanced himself. I think he covered something like 24, 25 meters, and he held on to that absolute blinder. And yes, that was one of the key moments in the game, which really propelled India to move on from there.
And a word on England and how close they were to entering the final. Had they entered the final, it would have been just them aiming for a third World Cup title like India are doing now. And Jacob Bethel, how good was he, Jacob Bethel, and his partnership with Will Jacks, and also a couple of partnerships earlier in the innings.
When so much was spoken about this kid when he made his debut for England in the Ashes, when he got 100 in Sydney, not generally do you see the likes of Nazar Hussain or a Michael Atherton, blow the trumpet of their own players, but they spoke very high about him, and I think he proved to the world saying he's there to stay, subject to him being grounded, and he's got the right set of people around him to take him through. I think a world-class player, a champion cricketer, and yes, Will Jackson, another exciting talent, along with Phil Salt. I think these are the players whom we are going to see them maybe in another 3-4 weeks' time on a regular basis in the IPL, turning out for different franchises. So it's exciting time for England. Unfortunate thing was overall in this tournament, the failure of somebody like Josh Butler hurt them very badly. I think he was one of the highly spoken guys who's going to hold this England team together. But he was a big letdown, and that's one area I think which really hurt England. Having said that, from positions where they could have easily slipped down, they really recovered. And the beauty of this was they had to get something in excess of 12, 13 every over to start with. So it was a no-brainer saying they had to get a boundary in every over. So they went hell for broke. They got stuck into it. And that partnership between Will Jacks and Bethel was threatening to take the game away. That was when, 16 and 18 came and sealed the whole thing for India. But England displayed their ability, and they proved why they were there in the last four. It was just one of those nights wherein they just couldn't pull it off. As I said, 254 was just too much of an ask. If they had pulled it off, I think they were, virtual World Cup winners. Whatever happened in the final was besides the point. They certainly deserved that.
And when England were going for the target, what did you make of Surya Kumar Yadav's captaincy? And normally we see him be smiling around, encouraging his players around. But did you notice something different when he was on the field against England?
Honestly, he got his bowling options post 15th. He was very clear. He wanted to bowl two of Bumrah, one of Harshdeep, and one of Hardik Pandya. And when it came down to 30 in the last over, it was a no-brainer that he had to go to somebody like Shivam Dube. But I think post eight overs, I think he was a bit ruffled, and we could see his body language. He wasn't happy with the couple of fielding efforts, and he, in fact, himself, let go a couple of straightforward balls under his legs. I think pressure just showed on him a little bit. Normally, because I've seen a lot of him right from his 19 days to now being captain of India T20 squad, and he was captain of the Mumbai Indians for a couple of years. But I think it reflected yesterday that, the tension did catch up with him. But at the end of it, I think he managed to get his resources together. And the key was when they did get the wicket of Will Jacks caught at deep point. I think that turned the table around again. And then the run out of Bethel. Certainly, they would have got back, had a chat quickly. And certainly, yes, pressure is bound to show on anybody. It could be whomsoever, because we are all human. So end of it, he did camouflage everything, and end of the day, it ended as a good night for India.
I just mentioned the catch of Harry Brook, but that catch of Will Jacks, isn't it unfair on somebody like Shivam, somebody like Akshar Patel, who did all the hard yards, running around, doing the diving, and the scoreboard says Will Jacks caught Shivam Dube, bowled Arshdeep.
You've been covering this sport for close to 25 years. I think, this has gone on many a times. And in one-day cricket especially, the boundary line catches have become so prevalent. So end of the day, whoever does the hard yards, it doesn't make a difference. End of the day, it's a team game. So wicket falls, whoever takes the catch doesn't matter. End of the day, the result is what is important. Yes, in hindsight, you look at it, that's the way it is. But end of the day, who completes the catch is the one whose name goes down in the scorecard. But good awareness for Shivam Dube also, mind you. He ran closer, he got closer to the ball. In case if he was staying far too away, it would have been very difficult to, parry the ball back from Akshar Patel into the boundary line.
And it could have been India versus South Africa, a repeat of the 2024 World Cup. But then New Zealand stood in the way of South Africa. And what a one-sided semi-final in Kolkata was it, Sri? Alan Finn and Team Seaford just blowing away the Proteas, getting the target in no time.
I think almost they qualified through the back door, waiting for the result of the Sri Lanka and Pakistan game. Once they got through, I think they made the most of it. Came down, had a outstanding game in Kolkata, and though Finn Allen and Tim Seifert were a little bit quiet after that 170-odd opening partnership against UAE in the league stage, they were a bit quiet, but they came good when it really needed, and 43 balls to spare. That's a massive thing, chasing down a target of 194. Well, New Zealand always, though they call themselves today that they say that we are not underdogs anymore, but they always carry the tag of playing that underdog. I mean, well-deserved team to be in the finals. I think we all thought that. In fact, I also rooted for an India-South Africa final, the repeat of 24, and that's how it would go on. Just a hit and a miss, and I think South Africa were gracious enough to say that they didn't choke in that particular game. Actually, they were literally bludgeoned. They were, put to the ground really, and that's it. I think you need to acknowledge facts that you play those small moments in these high pressure games and knockout fixtures. I think New Zealand were far a better side on that particular night. Again, come 8th at Ahmedabad, 40 overs of high voltage cricket. You never know how things will pan out. It's wait and watch. Hopefully, it turns out to be an exciting game.
Sure. And who in the New Zealand lineup you see as a threat to India and standing in the way of them lifting their third title?
I mean, it's not about one player who can sort of create the damage. Their opening pair is one of the most dreaded ones in world cricket, Allen and Seyfert. People like Rachin Ravindra or somebody like Daryl Mitchell have not had a good hit in the middle. Somebody who could step up on a big stage in a final. Glenn Phillips is somebody who can be a dangerous cricketer, and you can't take away somebody like a Mitch Santner. Can bowl as canny left armers and can be more than useful at the bat. They've got a pretty decent fast bowling attack in the wake of Matt Henry, Lockie Ferguson. So it's an all-round side, and mind you, their positive is whatever they do with the ball on the field, I think their fielding is something that's going to back them up really well. So I just can't put my money on one player and say because the whole world, the cricketing fraternity predicted saying that Abhishek Sharma is going to be the player to watch out in this World Cup. It turned out to be a damn squib. So I'm not looking at one particular player. I think New Zealand as a unit would be dangerous, and certainly India would plan for that. So maybe somebody who's had a quiet World Cup so far could be the dangerous guy. Could be a Glenn Phillips, who could be an obstacle or could be the sort of thorn in India's flesh in this final.
Or it could even be Varun Chakravarti, who has not had a decent set of matches in the recent times, has gone for runs aplenty. Maybe Sunday final, and Varun Chakravarti is waiting to deliver in the big stage. Thank you very much, Sri, and let's hope it's India third time winners. But then New Zealand also deserve to be the title holders for the way they have played. Exciting cricket
now
awaits.
I'll put it across to you. The adage of this World Cup was history repeat, history defeat. But India is going to do on 8th, and you're there very much in Ahmedabad. We'll stay in touch. Have a wonderful game. Enjoy, and have fun at the conundrum.
Thank you, Sri, and keeping fingers crossed. And yes, let's hope your adage comes true on Sunday night. Thank you very much. Take care. Stay safe.